Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, the mellifluous doctor and apostle of love. This reflection is prepared by Father Aube Francis, pastor at St. Jude Church, Grand Rapids, Michigan, USA. Feast Day, August 20th. Birth and early life. Saint Bernard of Clairvaux was born in Fontaines-les-Dijon, Burgundy, France, in 1090 into a noble family. His father, Tesselin, was a knight of high reputation, and his mother, Aleth, was a deeply pious woman who nurtured Bernard's faith from childhood. From an early age, Bernard displayed remarkable intelligence, sensitivity, and a natural gift for prayer. His mother's devotion left such an impression on him that he later credited her with planting the seeds of holiness in his soul. Bernard was educated at a prestigious school, excelling in literature and theology. Though surrounded by opportunities for worldly advancement, his heart was drawn to a higher calling. In his early 20s, after deep reflection, he resolved to dedicate his life completely to God through the monastic life, his call and monastic vocation. In 1113, Bernard entered the newly founded Cistercian order at Quito, known for its austere and reforming spirit. His influence was so powerful that he persuaded about 30 companions, including his brothers and friends, to join him in this radical commitment. 2 years later, in 1115, Bernard was sent with a small group of monks to establish a new monastery at Clairvaux, in a rugged valley in Champagne, France. Despite harsh conditions, Bernard's zeal and leadership transformed Clairvaux into a flourishing center of prayer, work, and holiness. Under his guidance, Clairvaux became a model monastery, and from it sprang 68 daughter houses, spreading Cistercian spirituality across Europe. Accomplishments and works. Saint Bernard was not only a reformer but also a preacher, mediator, and prolific spiritual writer. His accomplishments were vast and touched nearly every area of the Church in his time. 1. Defender of the faith, Bernard played a key role in settling theological disputes, most notably opposing the teachings of Peter Abelard, whose rationalist tendencies threatened the integrity of Catholic doctrine. 2. Advisor to popes and kings, his counsel was sought by popes, bishops, and rulers. He was instrumental in resolving the papal schism of 1130 by rallying support for Pope Innocent II against the antipope Anacletus II. 3. Preacher of the Crusade. At the request of Pope Eugene III, Bernard preached the Second Crusade, stirring Christian Europe with his eloquence, though the crusade itself ended in disappointment. 4. Theologian and mystic. His writings include profound works such as On Loving God, sermons on the Song of Songs, and treatises on humility, grace, and the Virgin Mary. His style, filled with sweetness and depth, earned him the title Dr. Mellifluous, the honey-sweet doctor. 5. Promoter of Marian devotion. Bernard had a tender devotion to the Blessed Virgin Mary, to whom he dedicated beautiful sermons, encouraging Christians to seek her intercession with the famous exhortation, in dangers, in doubts, in difficulties, think of Mary, call upon Mary. Doctor of the Church. Bernard was proclaimed a Doctor of the Church in 1830 by Pope Pius VIII, honored for the richness of his theology, the eloquence of his preaching, and the lasting influence of his writings. His works combine theological precision with a poetic and pastoral spirit, making him not only a thinker but a guide for souls seeking intimacy with God. Death and canonization. After a life of tireless labor for the Church, Bernard died on August 20, 1153, at Clairvaux. He was canonized only 21 years later, in 1174, by Pope Alexander III, an unusually rapid recognition that reflected his extraordinary sanctity and influence. Legacy. Saint Bernard's legacy is vast. He revitalized the Cistercian order, shaping European monasticism. His spiritual writings remain treasures of Christian mysticism, blending intellect and love. He influenced church governance, theology, and Marian devotion for centuries. He is honored as the last of the Fathers of the Church for his deep spiritual wisdom and ability to synthesize tradition with pastoral zeal. Lessons from his life. 1. Holiness is contagious. Bernard's zeal brought countless others to Christ. 2. Love is the heart of theology. He taught that knowing God must always lead to loving Him. 3. Devotion to Mary leads us to Jesus. His Marian preaching still inspires trust in her. Intercession for true leadership serves, though powerful in influence. Bernard remained a humble monk. 5. Balance of action and contemplation. He lived as both mystic and active servant of the Church. Question for meditation. Reflection. Am I allowing the love of God to move from my mind into my heart, as St. Bernard teaches, so that my faith is not only believed but deeply lived? How can I, like St. Bernard, use my gifts of prayer, words, and actions to bring others closer to Christ today?